Hi everybody, welcome back to Connect with Pets. My name is Megan and today we are going to be making dog biscuits. Now, this activity involves cooking in the oven and can get messy, so make sure to get permission and help from a parent before you start. You'll also need some special ingredients you might need to pick up at the grocery store to make sure the biscuit is healthy and safe for your pup to eat. Be sure to visit our website to download the guide for this activity that includes the ingredients, supplies, and baking instructions. Making healthy snacks for our canine companions is a great way to connect with our pets. To follow along and make these biscuits with us, you'll need 2 eggs, 1.5 cups of almond flour, half a cup of cranberries, and 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. You will also need a large mixing bowl, measuring cups including a 1 cup and a half cup, and a tablespoon measuring spoon. Now I'll show you how it's done and what to expect when you make yours at home. First things first, we are actually going to start with the eggs. So you're going to take 2 eggs and we are going to crack them separately from the rest of the guys, and we are going to beat them separately. Boom. Done. Now we're going to beat them until they're all nice and mixed, just like you were pretending to make scrambled eggs. All right, there we go. So there's our eggs, and we're just going to put them off to the side. Now we're going to take our big bowl, and this is where we're going to add our other ingredients. So we're going to take our almond flour and we're going to take our measuring cup because we want 1.5 cups for our almond flour. So I'm just going to pour this in. And here is our 1. And here is almost our half, almost. There we go. And we are going to do half a cup of either fresh or dried cranberries, whatever you have at home. Sometimes it's easier to get dried cranberries, but super important on the cranberries, please make sure it is just cranberries and that there's no sugar or artificial sweeteners or anything like that, because that might upset our puppies' tummies. So we want to make sure these are just cranberries that we're putting into the mix, okay? Plain old cranberries, nothing fancy. I'm just gonna get rid of these guys that are sticking on the top there. There we go, okay. We are gonna put 1 tablespoon worth of coconut oil. Now this guy's just a half a tablespoon, so I'm gonna put 2 scoops of coconut oil. Okay, so there's 1 scoop. There we go. And here's our other scoop. All right, so there we go. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix all of these together. So we're just gonna start with a spoon. However, you most likely will want to move to your hands to get more of like a kneading. You know, when you like knead the dough, like think of like pizza. We're gonna knead it all together. Now we're gonna add the eggs because it's still pretty dry in here, okay? So I've broken up, there's still a few chunks of the coconut oil, but not as bad. But now we're gonna have to start adding the eggs. So now this is where it's gonna get very wet and very messy quickly, but that's okay because we can just wash our hands again at the end. So we're gonna pour our eggs in, and now we're gonna keep kneading the dough. So let's get all the eggs out of there. Ooh, yum. All right. Get all in there, the slimy goodness that it is, and let's just knead it together so it'll start forming a dough. Now, this dough is gonna be very wet and sticky, okay? It's not gonna start off really smooth, all right? It's just a very sticky and wet dough. That is what the coconut flour is going to be for, all right? Now, you might wanna use a partner at home to help you get the coconut flour in here because your hands are gonna be super sticky and super gross. I'm just by myself today, so I'm just gonna make it work, and I don't mind if I get a little dough on the coconut flour, but the coconut flour is just gonna make it slightly less sticky, okay? Now, we're gonna do just 1 scoop of the coconut flour at a time. So then that way we don't put too much in and make it too dry again, because we still want it to be like a dough, so that it's just like when you're making cookies, you want it to be more of a wet dough instead of super dry, because then they're gonna be all crumbly and no good. So I have to scrape off my fingers first, because that's just how wet and sticky this is. Oh my goodness. There we go. Here we go. Okay, I got most of it off. Not really, but that's okay. All right, so now we're gonna take our coconut flour and we're gonna take our tablespoon, and we're just gonna do 1 tablespoon at a time. So you're just gonna take your tablespoon, you're gonna sprinkle it all over, set it down, and then fold it and mix it all and knead it in. Take our next scoop. Okay, there we go. And knead it, and kneading, we're kneading. Let's try one more and see where that takes us. If it's now more of a dough and less sticking all over me, because sticking all over me isn't what we want. We want just like a nice dough, like a pizza dough. Pizza doesn't stick to you that much if it's done right. There we go, this seems a lot better. And there we go, okay? So that was 3 scoops of the coconut flour was all that it took, all right? So now we're gonna grab something that we can put it on. I'm just gonna grab some wax paper here, and we're just gonna flatten the dough, okay? Because now is the fun part. We get to cut it out and make shapes with it so that we can give it to our pets later. Now I've got my little heart-shaped cookie cutter here. So now I'm just gonna take it, poke it in, and I'm just gonna do all of my heart-shaped cookies. And this one's a pretty tiny one because I have pretty tiny dogs, but also, again, it's just a treat. It's not a whole meal. There we go. So now you're gonna take this and you're gonna put it on your cookie sheet. I put some parchment paper on mine. And you are gonna cut them all out until all of the dough is completely used up. All right, there we have it. We have all of our cookies cut out and ready to go into the oven. So now is the part where you grab an adult to come with you. We're gonna preheat our oven to 325 degrees. We're gonna pop them in. We're gonna bake them for 18-ish minutes, just until they're crispy. And then we gotta test them out. All right, it is time for our taste test. Looks like we got some curious pups. Let's see if they're a hit. Can I get a sit? Oh. There's one, there you go, and there's 2. There we go, yeah. And there we have it, we got some curious pups. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please don't forget to click and subscribe and like this video. We'll have more coming for you shortly. Have a great day.